The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.
Hello and welcome to the Big H Podcast. I'll be your host, Mike Hayes, and with me today is hockey aficionado, Mr. Bill Smith. Bill, by day, is an art teacher, art coordinator in the Hilton Central School District, and he's everything hockey. Bill, how are you enjoying your vacation right now?
It's been a nice little break. I said to a number of my students last week, hey, I love what I do, but I am looking forward to a week away from this. So that is a good feeling.
Now, you're a week away. I know you haven't gotten away from paying attention to high school hockey, or we were off camera and you said, which hockey, Mike, are you talking about? Because tell me a little bit about your hockey interests, your playing days, your broadcasting days from college and in the high school ranks.
I mean, the Olympic tournament is fantastic. Team USA going on today. They got their medal round game this afternoon. So that's fun. Big Sabres fan. There's actual joy in Mudville, as it were, in Sabre country right now. So that's fun. My son plays. He's got playoffs coming up this week. And I myself am very committed to a floor hockey league that I've been in for a long time, and we have our season starting this evening. So hockey is it's buzzing in my house right now. So,
can you give me a little bit of update about the Olympic hockey, both men's and women's?
Women's play for the gold tomorrow. USA and Canada, kind of what everybody expected. USA has been creaming everybody, so I don't want to set up a jinx there, but they're well prepared for that one. And the men's tournament is down to the final 8, although there was a game this morning. I'm actually not sure if that one finished. They're into the medal round now, or the quarterfinals anyway. So USA, they play this afternoon at 3:00.
Are there any local players I think there's some players on the girls team, right, that are from
on the women's side? I may have these numbers maybe not exact. There's 4 or 5 women that played in the BK program that are on Team USA, and then there's another 7 or 8 or 9 of them that played in that program that are playing on other countries. That program is a force.
I did notice, I was looking through my digital phone, obviously, and there is a player on the women's team, last name Heise, Heise. Very uncommon name. Taylor Heise is her name, number 27. So maybe she'll bring a little love to the Big H Podcast.
So no relation?
No relation. I mean, it's obviously not a common name like Smith.
I can't claim relation to any of the other Smiths out there. So no.
And then you said you playing a little bit of floor hockey. Where do you play that?
I have been involved in a floor hockey league. This is year 16, year 15. We used to play at the Monroe YMCA, the little Y that's down near the 490 on Monroe Avenue in the city. But then the Y sold that building. It's now under a different program. And we've been playing at a private school in Greece. Once upon a time, it was the Barnard School. Now it is the Direct Katora School. And they are super kind and supportive to let us use their gym every Wednesday night to have our floor hockey league.
Does it get rough, or are you gentlemanly like on the floor?
Gentlemanly. There is a lady that plays in the league, so we are gentle personally, I suppose.
Okay.
It is, Mike, it's hard to describe. The league is the character and the camaraderie is kind of the top component of it. It is a hard thing to describe. It gets competitive, don't get me wrong, and there's some dynamite players that play. But it is fun. Everyone is respectful. You go out, you battle, and then everybody's friends after. It's great.
Nice. Now, talk to me a little bit about when as you've done some announcing, I believe, for Varsity Media. You did something for villageradio.net.
I started in college, was able to then transition into a little bit of it when Village Radio got going in Hilton. And through that, I found my way to some gigs with Varsity Media and have been able to do that, very part time ever since. So I called we're be talking Hilton hockey. I called a Portside game against Spartan hockey from Brockport a few weeks ago. So I've been able to get a couple of gigs, do Hilton games here and there, thanks to connection that Hilton has with Varsity Media. So I've been able to keep it as a little side gig, little side hustle. That is, it's a lot of fun. And I've been able to do lacrosse games and basketball, and I've called some field hockey. I've been able to do a lot of things. Hockey is the one that I enjoy calling the most. It's so much fun.
Well, good. I listened to your stuff. You're pretty good at it. So
I like to be teamed with a color person that really knows the game, because I like to think I do. I won't lie. I'm no expert, but I'm okay. But I understand the game and can talk very fast. So the play-by-play piece, I think I got.
Right. No, you're real good at it. All right, now we're going to switch our tune to what I brought you on for, which is to preview the hockey playoffs in Section 5, mainly focusing on Hilton and the A bracket, and maybe we'll dive into a little bit in the B bracket. I'm going to attempt to share my screen right now and see if I can't get the yeah, there it is. Can you see it on your screen?
I can.
Okay. So what we have here on the screen is the regular season standings, and you can see there that Hilton is in second place.
Yep.
And now I lost it. Can you explain to our viewers a little bit about how the power rankings and the seedings go for
the AB division is, I think, as simple as just school size and just kind of population. If you're in the know, beds numbers, I think, is a component in that. And then the regular season kind of plays out. Your A schools will play predominantly A schools. Your B schools, same thing, but there's a lot of crossover. It isn't just as simple as A plays A, B plays B through the regular season. It's the Section 5 group of teams. There's 19 of them. They play overlap quite a bit depending on who you are and what your schedule looks like. There isn't a simple formula to that, so everybody kind of sees everybody. I'm saying that knowing Hilton hasn't played Portside this season yet. They're about to. So it isn't as clean as A plays A, B plays B, but there's a lot of that, and then there's a lot of crossover as well. So these are teams that all are familiar with each other, and not for nothing. I don't want this to be off topic, but so many of these kids through travel through their other teams away from high school, they all know each other. So I mean, these are teams and coaches and kids that are all familiar with each other. So whether or not this school has played this school, they know each other very well usually.
Explain, you used a term there, and I know what it means, but some of our listeners might not. Beds numbers. Explain what that is all about.
You're putting me on the spot if I don't necessarily remember the acronym, but that is an official count of students enrolled in the school for that particular school year. So the beds numbers for Pittsford is X number of kids on down through. I'm looking at the standings that you posted, so it's not necessarily size, but Pittsford through let's say Greece. And Greece it's a team made up of 4 schools, so maybe that's a weird one to choose, but it's based on the amount of kids enrolled.
And I believe I get into a little bit of it with varsity football. They do it in boys, if it's boys sports, 10th through 12th, and then the next year they will move teams up or down, and footballs move down. For example, I was talking to Dr. Kasorik. Penfield is exploding, and they're going to be bumped up to, I think, AAA next year and things like that. So that's a little bit about the beds, but thank you for bringing that to our attention. The next screen I want to try to share is is the sectional brackets, and this is going to show where the schools fall. Can you see that on your screen?
I can.
Okay. So up at the top you have Pittsford, and then it looks like McQuaid won big 4-0 last night. If I scroll down, Penfield's 4, Spartan, I would think that's Gates Chili.
Gates with Rush Henrietta, and I'm gonna forget a school in there, but yeah.
Okay. And then Hilton down here with the bye last night. They're going to take on, like you said, the Portside Royals, who defeated Brighton HFL Eastridge Gananda 9-1. And then at the bottom, the WFL Panthers. They're going to take on Fairport, who was victorious over the Livingston Lakers 7-1. Explain a little bit about how some of these and the high school teams now, what they'll do is they'll combine schools to make one
Um,
team.
I you know, a good example you gave was Spartan hockey. Rush Henrietta, Gates, both big enough schools, but just the population that they had in that window, I think there's a. I don't know either school well enough to know if this is true or not, but I can imagine if in the future numbers go up, maybe they would go back to separate teams. I don't have any insight into that, but it's a way to keep the kids that are invested in the sport able to play at the high school level. So, Rush Henrietta and Gates come together to make Spartan hockey. Brighton, HFL, Eastridge, each school, again, it's that those aren't small high schools, but the hockey numbers were small enough that a singular team they just wouldn't field enough players or ice enough players, as it were. So they combine up, and it gives those kids a continued opportunity to play and keep the league strong. I mean, if I'll pick Brighton because I'm looking at the name right there. If they were only gonna have a roster of X number of kids, if you're able to bring in so many from HFL or Eastridge, it makes it more competitive. It puts them on a playing field where they can go in and compete with a Hilton who has strong depth in the community, or a Fairport, etc. So you see a little bit more of that. I think there's less teams than there once were, but still 19 teams in Section 5. That's a strong group. And I think these teams that have combined are doing a good job of keeping their programs alive. So I know there's conflicting emotions on that when you're in one of these combined programs, but I think for the most part, it's good.
Okay, so now if we do look over the course, you've been following hockey for a while. Who are some of the perennial powers in Section 5, whether it be an A classification or a B classification?
I think Pittsford, who's the Class A lead right now, they've won 2 of the last 3 Class A titles. They're always up there. They're well coached. Deep pool of players. That's when you really get down to it, that's a combined Mendon Sutherland. So Pittsford does that for a few sports. So they're really good. Webster Schrader this year, they're undefeated. That team is dynamite. That team, Class B, Class A, you name it, they're excellent, and they are usually right there. Schrader, Hilton. I'm a homer. I'm a homer. I'm gonna put them in the conversation. But they are well coached, and Chris and Joe and the guys and Dave, they do it right, and they're always going to compete. If the roster's young, if the roster's old, they're always going to be there. I like to see the school. Mind you, we're Hilton. We're west side of Monroe County. WFL, which is ostensibly Geneva. I like seeing growth there. I think that's great when you get a team that kind of rebounds. They've had a couple of down years, so I think that's really good. Geneva's an old Section 5 team. Fairport is never going to be down. They're always in there. Mm-hmm. On the B side, I have the pleasure of being able to do some Irondequoit games from the PA position as well. So they've had a nice season. It's nice to see them doing well. Webster Thomas is they've lost a couple games where they might say oof, but they could beat anybody. So it is on both sides. It is really wide open, but there's a lot of teams that could do it. Pittsford and Schrader are the easy ones because they're 1-1 on either side. But there are teams that can compete with both of them.
Are you getting the B up on your screen? I tried to share the Class B.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, you said there's Webster Schrader up at the top. play Churchville Chili, so on and so forth. Um, Aquinas, I remember back in the day when I was going through school, they were powerful. There's Victor.
Yeah, Aquinas this year. That's a good team. That's a team that could make a run. It's hard to bet against Schrader this year, but I've seen Victor play a couple times. That team is athletic. They got good size. They can really move. Um, Irondequoit has experience and some talent, so I think Victor, Irondequoit, Aquinas, Webster. I think any of those teams could make a run, but at the end of it, will probably be Schrader waiting for whoever that is.
Now, you alluded to it earlier about the Hilton coaching staff does it right. And I think there's a couple Joes on the team.
Pair of Joes, yes.
Head Chris and Mesbauer. Talk to me a little bit about their staff and their cohesion and what makes their Hilton program tick.
I think part of it is they've been together for a long time. Chris has had that group of coaches for as long as I've been doing my role, and I've been in my little glass case of emotions about the size of my screen right here for a number of years. But that consistency, I mean, you can't beat that. That's and I don't mean wins and losses. I mean that's just the cohesive nature of the staff and kind of how they coach and how they preach the character in that locker room and everything. The four of them been together, under Chris's lead, but they're a great team. So they've been together for a long time. And some of these kids, and every year, any sport is like this. This isn't just hockey. Very well through football, through baseball, through everything that, every year is its own animal. Every team is a little different. Seniors leave, 9th, 10th graders come in, whatever. But there's a consistency in the program and what they do through the off season and what they do into November and kind of through the season. So that plays so well. They are on a wonderful streak here of a few seasons in a row of having excellent goaltending, which, from the back out, that's something that they've been able to rely on, but they got strength at every level. So and again, I'm biased. I watch them most out of any team, and I work with Chris, and it's and the Dave is over at the high school, so I know the guys. So again, wearing my bias. I'm not wearing my red today. Sorry about that, fellas. But I think that again, that consistency is a big thing.
Well, I was looking at last year's season and combining this year. The last two seasons, they've had 30 victories, only 9 losses, and 1 tie. I did my math. That's 75% winning percentage. Last year, they were upended in the first round of the sectionals. And so maybe speak to that a little bit about maybe the disappointment from last year, but using that as motivation for this year.
Well, and coincidentally, or unless that's what you're leading me to here, it was against Portside, who they're going to see Friday night. Oh. Who Portside has been the end opponent the last couple of years in the playoffs. So Hilton, for the third year in a row, is heading into the playoffs against that team. Last year, the regular season, Hilton was incredibly strong. Portside in the playoff win against the Cadets last year, Portside played an incredible game. Like, hats off to them. They came in and played the exact game that they needed to play and won a game that was this close. I mean, it was an excellent hockey game. I mean, again, wearing my bias, I was sad at the outcome, but it was a really good hockey game. Hilton graduated a bunch of kids. And again, high school, year to year, slightly different roster. So this year, the number 2 seed record is slightly different, but again, consistency, strength, they can beat anybody. So I think, you wear the disappointment for however long, but you move on. And I'll give Chris and the Joes and Dave a credit to that. They didn't wear that disappointment for long. They were on and ready for this year, and they've shown it.
Did the roster appear on your screen? Because I tried to share that.
It did.
Okay. So there's your roster of the Cadets. And unfortunately, this one doesn't have the seniors on it. But I know Saplicki, the goaltender, he's a senior, right? And you said he's a 3-year goaltender?
There are 5 seniors. Hudeman, okay. Saplicki. Quickly doing this. Gannon, Driscoll, Palmer, and Sidoti.
Talk about senior leadership and how it helps from year to year.
Those guys, they lead on the ice, they lead off the ice. The off season workouts. Couple of them have been there. I remember seeing Jack Palmer play as a ninth grader, getting good minutes as a ninth grader on the blue line. I give a lot of credit to uh, um, Lennon for he's playing great this season. He's super talented, but he waited his time. He's behind an excellent goaltender last year, who was behind an excellent goaltender the year before. So Lennon has earned his spot and is playing great. Sidoti battles. That is a kid that I love to watch play. Driscoll has only gotten a few games in, but he is, since he was a freshman, skating around with like his hair is on fire. He's fun to watch. It's a really nice girl. And Hunter Hutterman, as a leader, as a talent, he's a big kid who can win battles along the boards, and he's also skilled. Like the five of them are a really fun group to watch, and I think they'll all be ready. I mean, come on, but they will be ready for Friday, big time.
Yeah, I think you brought up Hunter Hutterman. I was reading on X yesterday that he's up for Athlete of the Week, and you can go in and vote for him. I'll try to put a link down at the bottom of the podcast in the comment box. We'll have to get some Hilton love in that athletic player of the week. Explain to me. I follow the team on X. I haven't been to a game yet, but
can I cut you off there real quick?
Yes,
I would be very remiss. I'm looking at the roster that I had. I was looking at it. I would feel like a horrible human if I left out Mason Knight, one of the captains, who is also just so much fun to watch. This is a kid who is super skilled and just flies up and down the ice and is strong and everywhere. I've loved watching him play too. So shout to the other senior there, Mason.
Okay, and then I put up there the scoring leaders. Is that showing in your screen?
I'm seeing it. Yes.
Okay. And I obviously up there at the top is David Pollard of Pittsford, and then you come down for the Cadets, and there's a couple back to back, Lucas Grisanti and Hunter Hutterman. So they're there. And then if we go to goal leaders, Suplicki looks excellent here. He's not at the top, but I looked at his save percentage and the minutes that he does, and there he is, number 8, 20 games with 11-8 record, goals against average 2 and 2.23 with a 93% save percentage. But just look at the amount of shots that he's faced or saves, 456. It's quite a bit.
I think when you compare, like you said, minutes there, I mean, he has. It's hard to suggest anybody's played better. I mean, you look goals against average. He's, like you just said, he's 8th, but for the amount of minutes and the amount of games that he's been in there, I think he's an excellent goaltender, and that is always such a strength to have. Anyone else on the ice has that comfort that if they need him, they got him. But it is a big help. He's a talented kid.
And then another thing that I've noticed when I follow a team on X is when they're victorious. Coach Maffaletto posts this thing about Slade. Can you give me a little bit of insight into the story behind that?
I think, and I may not have the exact story myself, so I don't want to assume things, but I think it is an appreciation for both the band, both that era of rock and roll, and the Cadets, the goal song being Slade, and I think that's that is where I'll be honest, where the flashpoint was, why that became the thing. I actually don't know that story, but that is the goal song and a mantra, so to speak.
Yeah, I love Chris. Chris is a charismatic guy. He's a thinker. He's a motivator. So I can only imagine the stories. And he used to do the fedora. Do they do that anymore with like the player of the game?
I haven't seen pictures of that. I would hesitate to say no or yes. I would assume. But those used to show up on social media a little bit more. I'm not sure if that's just something they're keeping in house or what.
Talk to me about past Hilton players that have gone on to play at higher levels.
I know recently, this is just an example. My son is he's a goaltender, and he does clinics here and there with Marcy Chinapi and his kid Luch, who came through our program a couple of years ago. He's playing some college hockey. He had played some junior. He was at Potsdam doing some fun stuff, and also just a great kid. So that's a big one. There have been players that have either moved on to either club or gone on to juniors, or you wanna go in the Wayback Machine and talk about Ryan Callahan.
That's the one I remembered.
Um, played for. I may have this wrong. I played for Hilton for a year or two before he moved on to just the route that hockey players take to the pros often, not always, but often takes them away from home to junior hockey or what have you. And he went that route and ended up having a dynamite NHL career, playing the Olympics. That is that if you're gonna the point of pride for a high school program anywhere in this country would probably be, oh yeah, we had a guy on Team USA. That's a big one.
I try to get him on the podcast sometime. I don't know.
I would love to. I would love to talk to him. That'd be great.
Maybe I'll have you do the interview too, Bill.
Oh, I just no. Just throw me in as the color guy. That'll work.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share the screen again and try to put you on the spot. And we're going to go down these games and kind of be like Selection Sunday and see how we would predict the games and how they would go. You kind of gave me a hint of what you think is going to end up in the end, but you got Pittsford and McQuaid squaring off on Friday at 2 p.m. at Tim Hortons. What do you think jumps that game?
I think Pittsford probably takes that one. McQuaid's good. McQuaid. They have a couple kids that can really play. I think Pittsford right now being the one seed, it's kind of easy. I don't want to just go chalk here, but right. I think Pittsford takes that one.
Penfield and Spartan hockey. Even if you don't want to go chalk, maybe you know a little bit about each team that would benefit the other and possibly pulling an upset. Or
you know what, in that one, if you look at numbers, I would take the upset. I like Spartan hockey. I think they got good goaltending. They've got a first line who's really talented. They got some depth there. They're well coached. Penfield's really good. I think that's, again, I think anybody on A, I genuinely believe anybody can beat anybody. But I think Spartan can win that one.
Yeah, and it's a 4 or 5 if you go by the seeds. That typically is your hot matchup in the round of 8. Okay, now we go Hilton and Portside. I hope you're going to go Homer, and I hope Portside isn't a thorn in the side for the Cadets this year.
I don't think Portside is what they were the last couple of years, so I definitely think that helps. But I am a Homer, but from what I've seen from both teams this year, I think that the Cadets on paper are they're that should be a Cadet win. Okay. At the complete hope of not jinxing anything, Cadets take that one.
Nope. I was crossing my fingers as you made that prediction. All right, and then at the bottom is the WFL Panthers versus the Red Raiders of Fairport.
I'm going to go an upset there too. I mentioned before, I like, I as a high school hockey fan locally, I like seeing that WFL program sort of find their stride again. I think Fairport goes in and can beat that team. I bet that game is close. I bet it's 3-2, 4-3. But I would take Fairport.
And then just a general question. I'm not going to go farther into the brackets because at this point in the year, everybody's, who knows? Everyone's 0-0. You kind of said it all. Anybody in A can win it. What has to happen for teams to either upset another team or just to maintain that strength that they've been having and stay on a winning streak?
Goaltending helps. Hot goalie always helps. That's something that benefited Portside last year. Kid played unbelievable. But I think, and I won't maybe represent coach speak as well as a coach could. Just composure. Don't get out. Don't play outside of your own control. Stay in the moments. Like don't get ahead of yourself. I will again, Homer, point to the system or point to the Cadets. they stay in their system, they play the way that they play, they'll be just fine. It's when, and this is now any team, not just Hilton, it's when you get outside of that. You pinch at a time you don't normally pinch. You back up in a time you don't normally back up. You give a little bit more ice. That's when mistakes will happen. So play the way you've been playing.
Good. I like that one word, composure. Bill, is there anything that I didn't enlighten you with questions that you'd like to bring up to our viewers?
I would no be a compliment to you, sir. I think you nailed everything.
No, that'd be a very good compliment. My wife usually says, "Let your guests talk, Mike. Be podcast Mike," and you talked beautifully, and we almost got a half an hour out of this. And it's always a joy talking to you because, to your credit, you always call me Coach, and I like that title.
That is, hey man, that is with complete due respect. My route into coaching and being a part of Hilton Sports began with you, Coach Heiss. So I will always appreciate that.
That was a good season or season.
That was fun.
All right. Well, Bill, listen, hey, you have a great rest of your break. Enjoy the hockey game on Friday. Enjoy the Team USA. Hope we get a couple goals out of that. Enjoy your floor hockey.
I am the captain. Tonight is our draft. I am the proud captain of the Pontiac Firebirds. So hopefully after this evening, we start a winning campaign.
Go Firebirds. Well,
right.
Viewers, if you liked what you saw, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss an episode. Follow me on X, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. This has been Mike Heiss along with hockey guru Bill Smith. Good luck to the Hilton Cadet hockey team. # Go Cadets.
The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find